What's up YouTube, Pewsily here, bringing you a Laval deck list. You might have already seen it in some of my other duel videos, being exposed as you will by Thunderwolf, so Jamie, and it does ridiculous things. I first want to point out that this is just one of different types of builds that you can do. I choose this one because it's the most funky basically. You can do Quasar with it, and who doesn't love Quasar? There are other builds, and I've had someone post in like the other comments about how like the Quasar build isn't necessarily the best type. The other type does not use Quasar, so it means that you get more extra deck spaces, so you can put in more sort of flexible things to help cover for different situations. So I can definitely see that point, and I think it's a good idea as well. But Quasar's awesome, and one of the last ones that topped a 170-man tournament in the OCG was a Quasar build. So yeah, this is just one of many builds. I don't think this is going to be the one that does well in Europe because Quasar's not legal, but just showing you it because it's awesome. So the key sort of thing is Handmaiden, level 1 tuner, and it's sent to the graveyard. If you have another lava monster already in your graveyard, you can then send another lava monster to the graveyard. So you can send this, and then this, and then this, and then another one. So this by itself gives you 5 monsters in the graveyard, 5 being the key word, all have 200 defense. You've got 5 targets for Rekindling just because of this. It's totally ridiculous. Can you imagine if Light Sworn had something like this? It's just mental. And then moving on, you got 2 Laval Magma Cannoneer. The reason for this guy, he's pretty kind of subpar by himself, but he's got the magic 200 defense and the magic word Laval in his name. So you can send it to the graveyard with Handmaiden and with Molten Conduction Field, which you can't do with things like Fire Dog and things like that, because they don't have Laval in the name. And he's got the 200 defense to be special summoned by Rekindling, and he's level 4 to help you go into the Quasar play, so by making you level 5s and things. So he's ridiculously easy to get into the graveyard. It is laughable how easy this deck sets up. I mean, like, seriously, it's ridiculous. Aside from that, 1700 attack, can't really scoff at. It can put in a little bit of work by itself, and it can burn as well. So during time, this guy's actually kind of fun because he can burn for those random 1000 points of damage as well. Other than that, he's only in there as synchro fodder. Moving on, you then run 3 Laval Cannon. Unfortunately, can't be retrieved with the Rekindling because he's got 900 defense, but he is mental. Essentially, when you normal summon him, you can special summon any banished lava monster, any level, tuner or non, it doesn't matter, it can be anything. So you've got instant sort of rank 4 plays with him because he's level 4, or instant synchro plays if you get a tuner and things. He's really, really good. And if he had 200 defense, he'd be borked, he'd be completely broken. But yeah, he's just amazing. You can use him, of course, to go into easy black roses if you need to clear the field. Then you've got 2 Lakeside Ladies. She's awesome because not only she's level 3 tuner, so if you can't make the Quasar play, if you don't have a level 1 non-tuner, for instance, to make the formula, she makes easy level 8s and things for you. And then the key thing is when she's in the graveyard, you can banish this and one other Laval to pop a set card your opponent controls. That can be a set monster like a Gear Armor, or set back rows. So you've got your MSTs, your Storm, and these. And because these then banish, it sets these up to get these back to make a black rose play. It's mental, so you make big pluses off of that. Moving on to the non-Laval sorts of things, you've got 2 Boost Warriors. It's in there because it's level 1 non-tuner to make the formula. That's the hardest part in this deck, is making the formula synchron. You can special summon it, so it's not going to waste your normal summon if you've already used that to make your Black Rose play, for instance. And it's got the magic 200 defense, so it's also a Rekindling target. It's hard to send to the graveyard though because it's not a Laval, sorry, but he's pretty funky. More level 1 non-tuners is the Swift Scarecrow. You use Swift Scarecrow, sorry, because it's so hard to negate, unlike Battle Fader, and because it's the level 1 non-tuner. So if you need to, and I have many times, synchroed with this to make the formula, and then you go off just as normal. Gauze, because it's Gauze. 3 Card D, and Laval's really is a build that's going to need Card D. If you don't have Card D, you're going to struggle with this deck, I'm sorry to say. But the thing is, it's essentially it's a combo deck. You need the Rekindling, you need the Molten Conduction Field, and you need back row hate. This gets you into it. The Gauze and Swift Scarecrow protect you while you're doing it, and then you're going to be deck thinning all the while with your Handmaidens and your Molten Conduction Fields and things. Finishing off 2 hand traps, you're always going to have a pretty big hand until you go off. Maxi A lets you draw, which is awesome, and even better in this deck because you're going to get your combo pieces, and B puts your opponent off of going off while you're not set up, so you've got a lot to keep your opponent at bay. Right then, really monster heavy, so moving on to spells, you've got the new one, the Molten Conduction Field, which is really what has kicked the Lavals into play. This thing came out and then all of a sudden Laval started winning tournaments. big thing behind that one though is it's basically a double Foolish Burial. So you send 2 larval monsters from your deck to your graveyard, and it's at 3, whereas Foolish Burial is at 1. This card's mental. So open with this, you're instantly going to send a Handmaiden and a Magma Cannoneer, sorry, and then that's going to send another Handmaiden and another Handmaiden and another Magma Cannoneer. This one card has then sent 5 monsters from your deck to the graveyard and given you instant Rekindling setup. It's horrendous. Of course, one of the most borked cards, I've been calling for this to be hit on the ban list for a long, long time, is your Rekindlings in Super. Yeah, it does what it does. It's like almost a one. This and then like a level 1 non-tuner is Quasar. And I don't think there's any other deck that can make Quasar with just 2 cards. And you're going to be drawing along the way as well. You end up with more cards than you started with. And you only use 2. So it's mental. So, like I sort of mentioned with the stally bit, you can stall very well. So waiting 2 turns to get the 1 combo piece you need is not a problem. Waiting 2 turns to make a Quasar, I'm pretty sure anyone would make that trade-off. So you're going to be grabbing like Rekindling. Heavy Storm is a good one to get as well, of course. Or if you're really desperate, then the Molten Conduction Field. That's usually the worst one to get. So if you're up against a Laval player and they've gold sacked for the Conduction Field, go incredibly aggro. You need to win quickly. Because what that says to me is they have the Rekindling in back row hate. You've then got 2 Duality, so it combos incredibly well with this and with Card D and everything. And again, more deck thinning, more searching, more power. Get your combo bits really quickly. And then sort of staples, you got your Heavy Storm, and because it's sort of like a 1-hit kill, you need to get your 1 hit off. You're going to run 3 MST as well. I suppose there is some room for Night Beams if you liked that personal tech, but because of the Handmaidens, I've always found that just to be enough. Dark Hole to stop aggression when you need to, and then the Monster Born sometimes comes in handy as well, because it's Monster Born. Rounding it off is my personal, I like 2 Torrential Tribute. Just the 2 traps, and that's the last 2. Just because, again, you can stop aggression with it. So when your opponent goes YOLO, and they're going to Herpaderp, or you're up against Wind Up and they get the Magician Shark and stuff, you're like, you know. And then that does stuff that things like Maxi and Swift Scarecrow and things won't do. So it's in there to be defensive and help you save yourself, basically. So that's the deck, 40 cards of awesome. The extra deck, so you can see sort of how it works, because the extra deck essentially is the toolbox there. So you use your Handmaidens and everything to get to the bits you need. So the formula, obviously draw, and gets you into Quasar or Shooting Star Dragon if you need to. Librarian, because level 5s are easy. Catasto, because level 5s are easy. Laval Dragon, because level 5s are easy. And this thing's ridiculous. They banned Bryonac, but gave us this. This thing's better than Bryonac. Serious. Dual Slasher, because level 5s are easy. And it's a Rekindling target. What's not to love? Level 6s you can also do, so there's some there. And if you don't have the Quasar play, then sometimes you'll find yourself with a lone tuner left on the field. So sometimes making a level 6 to get the extra draw with Librarian is the way to go. So sort of Gaia Knight, Obligatory, and Laval Dragon. Just, it helps you deck thin, and sometimes it's useful. Level 7s next is the Black Rose I've been mentioning a lot, because you can. Laval Stennen, which I don't really like, so could be another Black Rose. And Archfiend, just it's a big beat stick for a level 7. So, and then level 8, which you'll occasionally go into, Scrap Dragon because it's Scrap Dragon, and Stardust because you can make the Shooting Star as well, and because it's Stardust, everyone loves Stardust. And you got the Shooting Star, which you make with your Stardust and your formula if you can't make the Quasar play. And the last synchro is Quasar, so that in this deck is your win condition. And then you got Laval Chain rounding off, because I felt like I couldn't think of another synchro worth putting in there. You can't really make level 9 that easy. And Laval Chain also sets off Handmaiden. You use like 2 level 4s to go into it like these guys. You send this to the graveyard to send this to the graveyard to send all 3 and then the last one or something. So, there we are. Cheers.